to Drum Talk. I'm Dan Schinder on Drum Talk TV, and I am so excited to welcome my guests all the way from Berlin, Germany, my first drum trio and their first overseas interview. This is David Patsch, Chris Heiny, and Andi Buhler. They are Playmobeat, and they are in their training mode right now, as you can see, and we'll find out soon what they're training for. Guys, how's it going?
Yep.
Yeah!
Hey Dan.
Hey,
right.
How are you?
We're fine.
We're really good. We're
Good.
totally in training mood.
Good. I have so many questions for you guys. I've been sharing your videos and the coming soon graphics, and my audience has really been extremely receptive. They can't wait. About an hour and a half ago, I posted something that I'm getting ready to interview you guys and got all kinds of great comments. So I have to first say, I want to tell my audience, these three gentlemen are not only extraordinary musicians, but they're really great entertainers as well, as you will soon see. And I want to start with a video, you guys, before we come back. And the video that I'm going to show is Schlagerinsel 2013. It's part of their new series. They're releasing one new video a month. This is the first one. Let's check this out. This is Playmobeat and their brand new video. Check this out.
Wir machen Schlagzeilen.
So that is Playmobeat's first new release of 2013. There's one coming every month. There's so many questions, but I got to ask you the most important one first. What is that wallpaper made up of? What's printed on all that paper, and how did you decide? Was it a long meeting to decide what content should be on the wallpaper? Tell us what's up with that.
It was not a certain purpose. It was not on purpose. It was just we took a newspaper and another one and another one. It's a cheap way to create a nice surrounding, and the name of the of the piece is press roll, like a technique, the drummer technique, but as well press roll, something to do with the news. And in the intro, we are just, wie sagt man Zeitungsleute?
Yeah, we are redaction. I don't know. What, the guys who print the news. So I had a lot of these papers at home because I got them weekly and they were that big. And I wanted to throw them away, and then, on the other hand, we needed something for that video. So we decided, let's just hang that on the wall, and the paper is a good one. So there is really good stuff written down.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I love your setup. I got to ask you guys, like, tell us about the equipment first, because I know you guys were using some other brands. They're in a couple other videos I'm going to show. You got these beautiful new Yamaha drums, a great line of Paiste cymbals. Tell us about your gear, and you know, there's three of you. I know how much one drummer goes through, sometimes the angst of, even if their heart is set on a particular brand, each brand carries so many different lines. Was it easy for the three of you to decide and say, okay, it's going to be these sizes of drums, this series from that brand, and then when it came to the cymbals, Paiste has such a great line of cymbals. How hard was it to come up with what you're using?
I mean, at the end, we try to sound different. Each drummer should sound different from the other drummer. Right. So that makes a huge difference if you use a small snare and a high snare and a low snare. And on the other hand, everyone has certain favorites on cymbals.
Right.
And so we just to follow our ideas and then try to find a unique sound together.
Right.
That's it.
That's great. That must have been a neat process, coming up with all the new equipment and setting it all up for the first time and playing together. What was that like?
Christmas, birthday, something like this.
Yeah. Everything just mixed together.
Childish. It felt childish in a way.
And sometimes jealous, because one got a nicer cymbal than the other. not like, how can I use this one? You get two of these.
That's so funny.
A bit like this.
When you started playing with the new gear for the first time in your studio, was it impossible to stop smiling? Was it one of those things?
Yeah, we smiled a lot and we tuned a lot.
Right.
It took hours of tuning.
Oh, yeah.
Next day, one more time, 2 or 3 hours. And now it's sometimes right before we start to shoot a new video and we try to find a good sound.
Yeah.
Then sometimes it takes 2 hours just to tune the drums.
Yeah, it makes sense, because you're not playing, and it would be fine if you did, but you're not playing with just 4-piece kits. You're playing with 6, 7, 8-piece kits. There's a couple specialty sizes in there. You got different percussion instruments. You got bell cymbals. You got cowbells, tambourines. You know, all kinds of things. So I could see how you're like a 3-man orchestra. Really, is the way I see it. And in fact, that kind of ties to one of the questions I was going to ask you regarding. I know this is such a broad question, but I got to ask it. I don't know how else to ask it, but the composition process, what is that like? And mixed in with the answer, I'd like the audience and I to please get some insight on the fact that sometimes you guys are all in unison, and even though, like David said, you got different tones, different sizes, different notes, you're in unison so much you sound like one man, and then other times your pieces are so beautifully orchestrated with the different polyrhythms, the different textures, the different sonic qualities. What is that process like? Is one of you the main writer? Does one of you come to the other two with an idea? You expound on it? Tell us how that whole process works.
Yeah, I think...
Wait, Chris speaks English? No, just kidding.
First of all, I have to say my English is bad.
No, it's very good. It's very good.
But, okay. I try.
No, you sound great.
Yeah, the most ideas comes from ourselves, though, and we bring that I don't know, one session, bring that in, and Andy says, for instance, yeah, this is a good idea. So let's develop this a little bit and playing around and do a session over one part, and then I don't know, and then after a while we developed parts and we try to create song. Yeah.
Right.
So that's
I think it's the same like in every band. We have the form concept. So you have like a intro, you have a verse and a chorus, something like that.
Right.
So then you have the different registers, the different levels. You have the rhythm, the groove, you have the harmonies, and you have the melodies.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to find out what is the melody. It's just when you play it over and over again, you start to recognize that your ear is going with one of us, and that is the ear of the audience. I mean, so
Right.
This is the melody, and we have to focus on that part, or we focus on the harmony, on the grooves. It's really like a normal band thing.
Yeah, and I like that's a good answer. I like the fact that all of that shows in your music too, and it truly is music. It's very structured. It absolutely tells a story, and I think that's what makes your percussion masterpieces such songs. You know, they really are songs and compositions. The process you just described, does that process vary whether it's a piece when you're all playing your full drum kits versus when you're just playing like a video I'm going to show in a moment where you're just playing a bass drum and a snare drum and perhaps a little toy or two? Is the process different or is it the same?
It's different because there's not such a huge orchestra.
Right.
When we just have a bass drum and a snare drum and one cymbal or whatever, a toy, then we have to follow other ideas. You cannot play like a drum set player. It's just more playing like a percussion player. And so we try to sing and we try to speak at the same time when we play drums, which is hard for me as a drummer to sing and at the same time while playing and or do some stick tricks, stick twirlings and this stuff.
Right.
So it's really hard for me to play this in front of the audience. So it's like I drop every time a stick, so it's really hard.
Every time.
Every
I never would have guessed that because I've been playing 43 years and I could still hardly twirl a stick. This is the extent of my stick twirling. Ready?
Yes.
That's about it. Oh, I got two. That's about
How
it.
How you do that?
awesome.
But I saw David, I saw your video where you're teaching people how to, I guess you'd say, flip a stick off of the impact of the drum. And I thought, that's interesting. I never saw that before. And I've been trying, and it's a good thing I had my glasses on because I almost poked an eye out. But so to see you do that video and hear you say that you're the one that drops the sticks every time is just really surprises me. But I'm going to watch that video because what I can do is I could throw a stick up 25 feet in the air and have it come right back in my hand, but I can't twirl it.
I would love to add something.
Yes.
Yes. Because you ask how the composition process is happening.
Right.
One thing we try to avoid is to play, when I play a bell and Chris is play a bell, then we say that makes no sense.
Right.
One of us has to choose the wood block or whatever and go with as well when we play another pattern, but we try to avoid to play in the same register at the same time.
Right.
So it's just really a low register, a middle and a high register, something or a sharp sound and the softest sounding. Right. And we try to play with different sticks or try to different, we have one piece we play with heads on the snare, and we play with plastic foil on the snare or whatever.
Just to give a different sound, right?
Hmm?
Heads.
Heads on the snare.
That's called a drum head.
Drum head.
And all of that comes out in the music, even when they're only playing a bass drum and a snare drum and maybe one toy. We're going to play a video right now. This is the first video I ever saw of Playmobeat. I didn't get any work done that night. I watched it at least 15 times over and over. And like any other great piece of music, I noticed something, or great movie, I noticed something different every time. I noticed something different in the patterns. I noticed something different in the sounds and textures, as David was just describing. And I noticed something different in what was going on. I think my favorite part of this video, with all the great drumming that's going on, is how David is constantly making Chris laugh. Here is Playmobeat playing stand-up dramedy. Check this out.
Ja, das wäre dann auch soweit. Also mir jetzt nicht. Ja, also
that's stand-up dramedy. Hopefully you enjoyed that at least half as much as I did, which I guess means I would have enjoyed it twice as much, but it would still be a lot. It's a great video, and I love the different tones and snares. It's really a great example of how much one or three can do with so little. And that leads me to another question that's a drumming question. This may sound like an obvious question, but how much do rudiments factor into not just your playing? I mean, it's obvious that everything you're playing is rudiments, but how much do the rudiments factor into the way you compose a piece? And let's go with a piece like things like you were playing in stand-up dramedy, or the piece where you're out in the park on the grass, where you just have such a limited amount of instruments, but yet you make it so full and it blooms, it blossoms, it still tells the story. Talk to us about rudiments and your playing.
I think we don't care about it.
Yeah.
No, we totally care. Every one of us, I think every drummer loves to practice rudiments. It's to learn the language, and but as soon you got the words of this language, you don't need to think about which one you want to choose. You just say the sentence, and it makes sense or it doesn't. I think that's what we do, and we are lucky we are in the same place with our techniques, so we don't need to discuss anything.
Yeah. Chris is a little wary of that. No,
but I have to say, before we create this group, I had to practice a lot rudiments. Yeah, because it makes more comfortable. Yeah, to play.
Right.
So the shit. Yeah. So,
yeah, no, you're right.
So if you use that or not, that's it depends to the, I don't know, to this part or what we do. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I think.
But this is important.
Yeah, you're right, and I think I love all aspects of your answer, because music, no matter what you play, it absolutely has to come from the heart, like you say, Chris. And I think, as Andy was saying, once you get yourself to a certain level of playing and you know the language, and I love that metaphor and that analogy, because different styles of music are different languages, and when you can master them the same way you would properly master English or German or French or Spanish with the proper dialect, you truly are speaking those languages, and it shows, in your playing. The rudiments obviously have helped you with your dexterity, and I think what you're saying is you don't really discuss the rudiments in the composition, in the formation of the composition. You just simply play them. It just comes out of you because it's part of who you are as drummers, correct?
Yeah. Not always.
From my perspective, is a rudiment just a tool,
right,
used to play music. And when I started to play rudiments with my first teacher, and he taught me the paradiddle, I had no clue how to deal with it. I just played it. And after years, when I studied music, and right now, I try to make music out of paradiddle or inverted or whatever. Flam, paradiddle, diddle, it doesn't, whatever. But I think you can make music nearly out of every rudiment.
Right.
And that's my hobby. So
yeah, I like that.
Music band, but that's my small thing. I try to sit down and try to what can I do with this, to play it with eighth note triplet as an eighth note triplet, or add a flam here and there, an accent here and there.
Right.
And then it starts to make to play music.
Right. That's a great answer, David, and it's also, I think, really good encouragement for those that may be watching that are not into rudiments. There's so many drummers that either they're self-taught, or they haven't played in band or orchestra for years and years, or they haven't had lessons for years, and they don't think of the rudiments as, they think of them, like someone else said, like they're vegetables. They don't want to eat them, and it's too academic, it's too clinical, it's too mathematic. But I think it's good encouragement for people to learn Rudiments so they can speak the language, and they can do what you are doing, which is to take them and become more musical with them. You know, Rudiments are not a bad thing, and I think you demonstrate that you can get very creative with them. Now, when you play live, and we're going to show a live video in a moment, when you play live, is there ever room within your compositions? Are there any passages or sections where there's a certain amount of improvisation allowed, whether it's the three of you together, or okay, this is Andy's turn to go off and improv on this part, or does that ever factor into your compositions and performances?
There are spots where we have to improvise, so it's like it's written down. Right. But I think at the end we have 80 or 90% without improvisation. Mm-hmm. It's just written music.
And how much of your compositions do you actually write out? Do you write these pieces completely out, or just make cheat notes? No.
It's written out, and
I like that.
Here, I said here and there.
Right. Here, there, and here.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a lot of emails for, hey, can you send us the music for that and that piece?
And how hard did you laugh?
Yeah, we always like that. Or, do you want to do it?
No.
Wow, I can't even imagine what that would look like. I mean, I've conducted a concert band and orchestra before, and when you look at, you know, all those staffs for all those sections, it's one thing, but for some reason, to me, the drumming notation for three guys doing everything you do would just be even crazier. That's suicide. Learn stuff like that by ear, right? Right. Great. So, hey, let's watch a video that has some live clips. And what this is from Playmobeat's first DVD release. It's called Transit. It came out in February of 2010. If you haven't seen this, heard it, or heard of it, get someone to help lift that big rock from over you, come out from under the rock, check this out, and watch these three gents playing live. Check this out. This is Playmobeat playing Transit.
Hallo, ich bin David Patsch. Ich spiele Schlagzeug.
Hallo, ich bin Heiny und ich spiele Schlagzeug.
Hallo, ich bin Andi Buhler und ich spiele Schlagzeug.
Hallo, wir sind Playmobeat und wir spielen Schlagzeug.
So that's Transit. How much fun is it to play live? Is it, and you can answer one at a time. Who likes to play live more? Who likes to do the pre-recorded or pre-rehearsed, the videos, which I guess they're still playing live. It's not like you guys are doing tons and tons of overdubs, but I guess what I mean is, when I say live, I mean in front of an audience. How much do you like to perform versus do the things in your studio that you do? Is there a preference?
Yeah.
From my side, I prefer to play in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. As well, when my skills are not good in front of an audience, then at the rehearsal place. So when I play on my own, I think, oh, this sounds great. And in front of an audience, sometimes it sounds weak or whatever. But the reaction of the listeners is makes a deep impact on my playing as well. So I prefer more live than practicing or rehearsing or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great answer. How about you, Chris?
Oh, me too. More live.
No, and Andy?
I love to play in the studio because this is a big challenge. So when I got a job, so then I didn't know anything before. I heard the piece right there in the studio, and then it's a big challenge to create and to record.
Right.
You know.
I'm suspecting Andy's probably the same then, right? You prefer live in front of an audience?
No, I need to think about something different. No, I love live. I love live, and I love you, and I love to play live. No, I think that's because I hate to do things. How can you say that? I don't want to do things definitely. Yeah. I want to keep things open. And in life, you are on the road, and you're always on the road.
Yes.
You know, you do something wrong, but the moment is gone. You do something great, the moment is gone. You're going on. If you're in the studio, you always have to think about, is this really good? You play the song, and it's really good, and you listen to it, and then you do it again, and you do it again, because you're never satisfied.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
It's wrong.
Oh yeah.
Playbeat Mo. So here's a question: how did the name come about? Not Playbeat Mo. I saw how that came about, but how did Playmobeat come about?
I'm sorry, I was wrong. Yeah. Who came up with this? Oh yeah, I haven't had that before. From little it's better.
There you go. Beat Mo Play.
When we start with the first rehearsal, when we start rehearsing for our first gig, we had the big question, like every band has the question, what kind of name, what kind of whatever style of name we have to choose. An English name, and because we're native speakers, German native speakers, a German name, whatever. There's a producer in Germany of toys for children, Playmobil, and we try to, Playmobil is known by all German children, so it's well known. And then we changed a little in Playmobeat, which another interpretation can be that you have to play more beats. So.
Got it.
You got it?
I got it. Okay, I have one last question, and then we'll wind down. How much do you guys rehearse a piece? Like, what is the timeline? And I realize it varies depending on the piece, but typically, what is the timeline from the time a piece is thought of till the time it's presented to the other guys, and you guys work it all out, and then you go, okay, that's it. Let's film it and record it. What is it? A long time? Do you guys practice it a lot first? Does it develop and then you get, really about a month?
It takes months.
Oh, months.
More than 1 month. Sometimes it's just a pattern, an idea, a vision, and then after a while, we practice for a project, for a video, for a gig, for a show, and then we come back to the idea, vision, pattern, whatever, and then we find a certain other pattern, and then we can add this. Then we forget to record everything, and 2 weeks after we forgot everything, and we have to come back to the first step and find the second pattern.
It's the truth.
This takes hours. Hours, and it's really hard to be passionate and stay cool.
Yeah.
And then now we got the idea that we record every step, but we forget to listen to the recording. So we have to go back to the first step. So it's over and over. It's a disaster. But after a month,
you need one of these to help you remember.
Yes. Yeah. That's
and then you remember when you walk. What is this? Oh yeah, I gotta listen to the recording. Then you just flip it up.
So it's a mess. So and sometimes we have had really rough days, but at the end, after 2 or 3 months, we are set and we have a new piece. And then we play the first show, and then we have to develop a certain change. Yeah, a different part. We add a different part, or this part is shorter. So reality writes another song, make out of it.
Right. I'm going to sneak in a bonus question. I know I said this was the last question 2 questions ago, but a bonus question is, do each of you, as people get more familiar with your material and as they've watched the videos we've dropped in, they'll understand this question a little bit more, because sometimes, as I said, you guys are playing the same thing, so you're playing each other's parts. Sometimes you're complementing, one guy's leading, you got backbone, we went through all of that. So having said that, being that you all, obviously, it looks like you could play each other's stuff, do any particular one of you have different fortes from the other? Whether it's something you enjoy to play more, or something you each are better at? Not that than the other guy, but within yourself, you know what I mean?
I think we're totally different players. That what makes it
interesting.
It makes it really interesting for us, because we learn from ourselves, and I mean, if you watch closely, you really see everyone has a different approach to the technique.
Absolutely.
Everyone has even if we had gigs where we play with the gear that was there, so we had no time to tune or something, and still it worked out because we sound really different. If one hits the snare and the other one, you can tell. It's
even the bass drums are sounding completely different.
Yeah, absolutely, different sizes and everything. Yeah. So okay, I have a bonus question now. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. What do each of you, and you could give me the short answer if you want, but starting with Chris, what do you guys like to listen to? What kind of music influences you that you like to, when you get in your car or you're kicking back at home, you put on some music? What do you guys listen to?
I like rock music, so that's my favorite kind of music. So not. You want to know a band? Or?
Yeah, what particular kind of bands do you like? Because rock music's so broad.
Or,
like your favorite 3 or something.
I like to watch Foo Fighters.
Oh, great.
Foo Fighters, it's my favorite band. So I like that drum sound is big and good energy. Yeah. So that's
Cool. How about you,
breaks
David?
a lot of sticks.
Yeah. How about you, David? What do you like to listen to?
At the moment, not too much overproduced music.
Right.
So I don't like when drums are not sounding natural, when they sound overproduced, like triggered drums, and without beat detective. So more humanized drums, and the same with the voice and with the guitar player and the bass player.
Yeah.
If it sounds more like handmade music.
Yeah, you like a more organic sound?
Yes, if there is organic sounding music, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Who do you like to listen to? Who would be your top two that fit
I have
your
not-
description?
I have not a certain band.
Okay.
Sometimes it's really old band, like old Van Halen
Uh-huh.
recordings, like this, where you just listen to the David Lee Roth and he just like wah, 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 all the time, and he's not singing one word. It's just wah, wah, and it's more about the feeling.
Right.
So and that's makes sense for me. Music more like a feeling, how to live and how to be, than a certain style. Can be the same with jazz music.
Yeah.
Right before 2 hours before the recordings, where Andi and me, we talked about favorite live recordings.
Right.
There was one, Deep Purple, live in Japan.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest live recordings ever.
Yes.
One of my
And
favorite
there's-
drummers. One of my biggest influences is Ian Pace. Yeah.
And there's a certain feel in it.
Yeah.
Just on this specific recording, which, I got goosebumps every time
Yeah, me
when I
too.
listen to it. And then like a certain Miles Davis recording with Tony Williams, the Carnegie Hall,
Yeah.
these milestones for me. And
Yeah.
I listen to these recordings over and over and over and over.
Right. That's great. How about you, Andy?
I tell you two bands, and then I think it's clear. My favorite band is The Band,
Right.
and the other band is Medeski Martin Wood.
Nice. Yeah, that does say it all, basically. Yeah. By the way, I hear that it took the band forever to think of that name. Just kidding.
I know. Still, they're the one band that earns the name.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I have an announcement to everybody. My wife and I are moving to Berlin. I'm joining the group. Angie's going to continue her art career in Berlin. Just
Come
truly
here.
By the way, you want to...
You want to
Is it?
breakthrough?
Yeah,
It's yummy.
with mustard. Yeah, throw it. I love your guys' music. I love your guys' style. I love your presentation. You guys did good with your choice of gear, the different sounds, the different textures. A brilliant job with Yamaha drums and Paiste cymbals and all the other little trinkets and toys and gadgets that you're using. I want to thank you very much for coming on Drum Talk TV with me. And everybody out there, I hope this was another great lesson that wasn't learned from sitting behind your practice pad or at your drum kit, because as I've always said, if you have an open mind, you can learn from anybody if you just tune into the discussions and learn from their unique perspectives that are built on their unique experiences. And here we have three gentlemen that certainly are completely different, and they've come together as drummers to form a great band with great compositions, great presentation. Thanks everybody for watching. And Playmobeat, David, Chris, and Andy, thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you lead us out with a piece of music?
Yeah, all right. Hey, thank you, Dan.
Thanks for the invitation. Bye.
And I'm ready to join you.
Yeah.
Where's the one? We don't need that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Solo. It's totally synchronized.
Besucht unsere Homepage www.playmobeat.de.
Patsch.